Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Sorry, just a few minutes late. The doggo needed to go out and do his thing. So, how is everyone doing? Yeah, I'll tell you what. Why don't I just chuck the Discord into the chat myself? Because, sorry, Silas, I think I've got all the links turned off. Evening, Skelly. How you doing, mate? You come to live vicariously through me after locking yourself out of the second account. Sorry, that's the only joke I'm going to make about that. I know the pain. I know the pain. Get my keyboard to work. There we go. That is the general link to the Discord. Should anybody wish to join who isn't there already, please come on over. We're generally quite a friendly bunch. So yeah, I figured Friday night, why not play a little Star Citizen on the stream? Oh, you managed to unlock my ult. Oh, that's good. Well, I'm not sure I should be admitted to account sharing, but I think CIG will understand that this is very special circumstances. I am being their customer support. That's my view on it, and what I will argue in the court of public opinion. So yeah, I've managed to click the right button in Streamlabs tonight. So now I can definitely see both Twitch chat and YouTube chat, which is all new for me. Yeah, this is let me just see. I think I might have to turn the music down a little bit. I'm still finding my way around the exact audio settings here. Yeah, Northace, yeah, have a lag-free session. I'm not sure lag-free is ever going to be a possibility. But I will settle for low latency. I'll settle for anything which leaves me in profit, I'll be honest. I am just, as you can see, just a millionaire. But to be fair, I'm on my way to buy some mining equipment to make sure that my mole is all kitted out, so actually I'd imagine I'll go back to not being a millionaire in the not too distant future. But we'll see. Right, sorry, if I tell you what, I'm going to at some point have to claim my mole to here to make sure that I can equip it with any with the Lancet lasers and all that good stuff. So when I do that and we have to sit around for a couple of minutes and wait for the mole to claim, then I'm going to update the video description with the Discord link, because I do keep forgetting to do that. It's on my never-ending escalator of a to-do list. So yeah, we're just gonna swing by Cousin Crows because I cannot remember for the life of me whether my mole is kitted out with the necessary lasers. I'm not quite sure I'm meant to be coming to Cousin Crows. I can definitely buy an XL1 here, so I'll probably grab one of those just to make my life that little bit easier. But yeah, I think we might have to head to... Yeah, there's a branch of Shubin mining here at Providence, isn't there? Ah, damn, Clive, that is... Yeah, This is pretty much the message I'm trying to send to everybody who is playing Star Citizen at the moment and is experiencing some bugs. And yeah, I know there's issues out there, like when you're playing the game, but like my message to everybody who is playing is very much like, you're playing. There are people out there who aren't. And yeah, this is the Kovalex thing. I have to remember how to get to the Shiba mining one. I think it's the other side of the Discovery Center, if I remember correctly. But it's alright. You can live vicariously through me and watch me lose money instead, Clive. Even by not playing, hopefully you can have a more profitable session than I do. There we go, Providence surplus. Let's hope they have mining equipment here. If not, we'll just have to swing by. No. Let's see. Right, let's do a quick check on Cornerstone, I reckon. As you can tell, I'm incredibly well prepared. Logged myself out at Horizon, thought I was going to do a little bit of race practice tonight, but then I thought, why not stream? And I thought, why not actually go mining? That'll be a nice change. I've been doing quite a lot of salvage so far this patch. Let's see. We're gonna have to go to Grimhex for our mining head. That's probably going to be the easiest place to go to, and then I think we'll probably head over towards towards Lyria. There we go. Been a while since I've been mining, apparently. Right. But yeah, this is very much just going to be a chilled out stream. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I'm not sure I'll be able to answer them. I'll give it my best go though. That's the general idea here. But if you could put sort of open brackets or brackets question, or even just the word question in front of your question, that will just help me pick them out of chat. Since Ravnak is on holiday, he's usually here helping me out with that sort of stuff when I miss a question. So oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I really enjoyed making the last video. Getting organized on medical gameplay. It was during the stream last weekend. I was chatting to people and I realized that I had not made an episode of Getting Organized in quite a while. I forgot how fun it is, to be honest. You know, you just sit down with they always take longer to make than I think they're gonna take. And I always sort of find myself liking ships that maybe at times like I haven't liked. So actually in terms of theory crafting, the Galaxy really grew on me during the length of time it took to make that video. That said, I stick by the things I said in my video on the Galaxy when it came out. I think it would be sensible for us to wait and see a little bit on modularity in general. What is the plan for today? The plan for today is to try and go and mine some Quantanium. But, you know, very much the plan for today is to chill out on a Friday night, have a bit of chat, talk all things 318, all things Star Citizen. Might touch on the latest Inside Star Citizen, which came out last night. I figure a 24-hour window is long enough for it not to count as spoilers. Although I got quite excited by it and spoiled it in about 6 minutes on Discord. Thankfully somebody called me on it and I deleted my comment. Sorry, hanging my mug there was not a subtle merch plug, unless it was. Howdy, Master Ben. How are you doing? Did you have an enjoyable stream? Hi there, Mr. Gay. How you doing? Yeah, the galaxy is officially growing on me. The one thing about the galaxy, though, I will just pick it out. Keep an eye on the caterpillar. That's the other angle on the galaxy. You know, the caterpillar is equally modular and all that good stuff. So, you know, we can assume that we'll also see some updated information on the caterpillar. They sit in about the same price range. So, you know, it's it definitely sort of says to me that we'll be getting some updates there. So I'm very wait and see on the galaxy. But the galaxy does look cool. I have to say, I am a fan of the space Doritos. So yeah, it's I'm a big fan of the Perseus. How it looks. I hate the price. I hate the dollar price. It's but that's why I do like to point out whenever I get the opportunity that nearly every ship can be bought in game. And the ones that can't be bought in game or don't have plans to be bought in game are also ones that you can't buy for cash. So everything you can buy on the cash store, you'll be able to acquire by buying it in game. So keep that in mind, particularly around the old sale times. Yeah, Mazak, we are officially live on YouTube and Twitch. My smooth brain managed to work out how to do that. That is how easy making videos and streaming is. Well, that's the easy part of making videos and streaming, working out how some of the kit works. I have to say, streaming is much harder than it looks. Hence, I do it so badly. Yeah, no, so I do a repair, refuel, getting organized episode. So the interesting thing is, I basically did. There's one in there which is like I decided to combine it with salvage. So my view was that you could combine a salvage org with a, particularly at the higher levels, like once you got into the medium and the large org, you could have an org which specialized in both. And so by salvaging, and you could basically generate your own materials for repairing. But the interesting thing, because I went back over a number of the getting organized episodes, and one of the interesting things for me was how many of the episodes I would be really quite happy to redo, because I've been doing this for a couple of years, and getting organized was one of the ones that I actually started doing fairly early. So I'd be interested, particularly after they release the info on like the large RSI miner, I'd be interested to go back and redo the mining vid. I'd be interested to go back and do the exploration video, because that was pre-Odyssey. And yeah, all sorts of them really would interest me in redoing, because there is a lot of changes, new concepts, and I think there are a number of different orgs as well, which, you know, we've got new ships which open up sort of new possibilities of gameplay. I'm really looking forward. I greatly await nearly every little piece of information there is to glean on crafting, because I am at heart still a survival player, and I love crafting. So, not even like we're just waiting for the ships. We're waiting for entire game mechanic information. Yeah, so just picking up on Close Point, just for anybody who's a bit newer to how it works. So, effectively, when ships are first released, so either they can be released as straight to flyable, or they can be released as a concept. Straight to flyable does what it says on the tin, though sometimes it's straight to drivable, in the case of ground vehicles. But that first patch that they come out, they are exclusive to people who buy them for hard currency. Sometimes, in some cases, because it has tended to work to CIG have left themselves a lot of wiggle room in how they describe it, but whether it's 3 months, whether it's 6 months, even a little bit more in some cases, usually, like, something that comes out in 3.18, like the Vulture, chances are that in 3.19, in a few months' time, the Vulture will be available to buy in in-game shops. If not 3.19, then 3.20. Exactly how they calculate that, I don't know. So the cynic in me has a sneaking suspicion it might be slightly to do with how many they think they can still sell. But that's just the cynic in me. Ignore him. It's been a long week. The key bit is that they will make those ships available in a fairly timely period, regardless of how big they are, regardless of how expensive they are in dollar terms. So the key thing is you don't need to buy any for dollars. You know, that game loop will open to you, and frankly, in the case of the Vulture is a 2-person ship anyway. Pretty much everybody who owns a Vulture would benefit from a buddy who doesn't own a Vulture, because you can definitely buff your earnings in a Vulture with 2 people as opposed to with 1. Particularly if that second person drives a cargo ship. Like, considering the Vulture can only carry, at an absolute push, 24 boxes. Wow, not an absolute push, sorry. I've seen some extra special craziness, like getting the boxes upstairs. But on a good day on your own, 23 boxes. So considering that, you know, even something like a Cutlass Black, if you've got a mate with a Cutlass Black and one with a Vulture, that's a good combination. And then you just, you take it in turns, right? Just switch round. Somebody does the boxes, somebody does the scraping. In the meantime, that means that you've got somebody to have a nice chat with while you do your Vulture. So here we go, Lucky 7. This is their. So I've got 25 into the Vulture a number of times. Sorry, coffee machine in the background, just in case that's coming through. So I've got 25 into the Vulture a number of times because I can work out solo how to stack 23 and then leave one in the filler station, one on the filler station conveyor belt. But every time I do 25, I lose those 2. Like when I go and sell it, it sells 23, and then when I get back to the ship, the one on the conveyor belt and the one in the filler station seem to disappear on me. So my safety number is 23. I keep trying 25 because, you know, while you're there, you might as well get an extra 2, eh? But, you know, if your mate drives a Cutty Black, that means that you can make the trip home with about 70 boxes, which is decidedly good. Yeah, like anything works really. Like Nomad works, but the Caterpillar is absolutely great if you want to go truly insane. We had a lot of fun doing build a freelancer max with from a couple of vultures the other night. The only thing that's making me a little bit sad is that the reclaimer still seems to be nice and bugged. So seems to me that every time it seems to tap out the reclaimer at about we managed to get 40 boxes through it last night, I want to say. Was it last night? Probably. But then after a certain point, it seems it starts to suffer. And you just get 0 out of 0. The lasers decide they can scoop no more. So yeah, like I said, if you've got 2 of you, you can do some extra special packing, and you can get boxes upstairs and use the bed space and all that sort of stuff. I think it was Jackal and King. They'll have to remind me of how many boxes they got if they're here, or I'll ask them a little bit later. Because I think they are the current record holders of the most you can fit into a vulture, and I think I'm right in saying they definitely topped 30. But that was by getting those boxes up the stairwell and getting them upstairs, sticking them in the bed, all that sort of fun. I think they were decidedly scared about flying that down. That's a good idea. Infinite Reach, just unload 2 onto the landing pad. Yeah, I didn't store the vulture at any point. It just disappeared on me when I sold the rest of my cargo off the grid. It's I don't know though. The other thing is, like, I don't know that it's worth necessarily, like I mean, like, going back on like the train and doing the whole loop, like back to your ship to load those 2 boxes, to go back on the train to the TDD to sell for 15 grand. I think with the length of train rides and stuff, I think you're better off just going, I'll get 23, do 1 trip to the TDD, and then, you know, back out again. How you doing, Zelazin? Long time no see. Unless I just don't know your Twitch nickname. That is. I'm hoping I can claim my mole here to Grimhex. Okay, that's a good sign usually. Well, apparently not in this case. Let's go and buy a Lancet anyway, because I might be able to just transport it in one of my other ships. Is there any particular reason why we can't set pins on places and track our ships left in space? Yeah, there is a whole bunch of navigation stuff, which, you know, should be there, isn't there. Tis the way of it. I do wonder whether there's some element in there of you know, they're waiting for a redo of the star map, a bit like they said sort of ages ago. I remember them getting some people quite annoyed by basically saying that they weren't going to do any more work on trading and changing trading until they'd done the cargo refactor, because then they would just be doubling down on the amount of, you know, putting time into something which isn't going to be the way things are. So which makes sense to me. So I wonder if it is somewhat similar with the whatchamacallit, with stuff related to the star map. So because yeah, things like beacons that you could, like private beacons that you could leave for your party. So, you know, if you're a scout, like, here you are, mining buddies, there's a good cluster of quant rocks. That's something we've all been waiting for a while, to be honest. Just hoping. Not off to the best start, I'm afraid. Star Citizen is doing Star Citizen things. Yeah, it'd be good to see. Oh, that's just a commodity kiosk apparently. Yeah, it'd be really good to see sort of QT beacons we can set ourselves, and I am absolutely sure they will come. One of the other things I look forward to the absolute most is right. Let's see if we can buy stuff into the Redeemer and then use that as our transportation vessel. Apparently we aren't allowed to buy anything into the Redeemer. Interesting. Oh, with a bit of luck. The inventory will clear itself out. And if not, we'll go prospector mining. That's what we'll do. Yeah, sometimes, so what you can use the jerry-rigged answer to these things is you can. Oh, excellent. None of my preferred modules are here. The jerry-rigged answer is to use boxes, like delivery boxes. So they can act as, like, they can at least tell you the location of something. The downside to that, though, is that they're not QTable. So, you know, that's a bit of an issue. Like, so they're pretty useless. They're pretty good for down on, like, somewhere like Lyria, where, you know, you can remember the last point that you QT'd to. Chances are you're gonna be within a drivable distance. But they are pretty useless where they would be really useful, which is out in the Aaron Halo. I am not affiliated on Twitch because I am nowhere near consistent enough in my streaming. But that is going to change, I assure myself. my plan is to try and stream twice a week. Plan. Not definite. But my plan is to try and stick to, he says, on a Friday night, Thursday night, and either Saturday or Sunday. But we had a little bit of our doggo Krug was not too well this week, unfortunately. He was a little bit under the weather. Probably his own fault. Probably something he licked that he shouldn't have licked. He's just making grumbling noises at me on that, so just reminding me that is probably indeed my fault. So that was why I didn't didn't manage to do a stream last night. But going forward, it will likely be Thursday nights and Saturday afternoons or Sunday afternoons. Kind of depending on, you know, other commitments and whether we're running, like, whether I specifically am running big events over on Discord. So, result 1. That's good. At least it's letting me let me sub out my, get my Lancet lasers on board. That's good. Just have to check where I can buy surges, because we don't want to go running out of those. Oh, Winters, you could have my Amazon Prime sub. You can make $2.50 a month. Pitch me a link to your channel later in a DM, and you can have me as a sub. My YouTube says I'm playing Space Engineers. Well, I apologize to anybody from the Space Engineers community who has stumbled across this by accident. That is just my fat fingers. We are very much playing Star Citizen. Or maybe I should have just kept it going and said that I was just playing an advanced patch of Space Engineers. Got a 2-for-1 kind of deal. Do I think the Polaris will drop this year? This year is 2023 and this year is already a quarter done. I'm gonna go no. Oh, wait a minute. I should probably get my mole out, shouldn't I? That would be a good idea. Nah, I think... Well, I think there are blockers. We need to see more on the whole multi-crew gameplay come in. We need to see sort of a lot more in terms of, like, you know, all those things like engineering coming online. Some of the systems. Just to make, I think, I can't remember the exact terminology which was used, but I think it basically amounts to they could they could theoretically put like big ships, like bigger ships, like capital ships in, but they would feel like very, very big small ships, basically big kayaks, because while they'd be large and impressive in the sort of way that the like 890 jump, for example, is, they would effectively just be, you know, more of the same. Like, what can I actually do with it? Oh, you can get in turrets, and there's more seats to sit in on the bridge, not doing anything, because we haven't built those proper, you know, station positions yet. So I think we really have to see all that extra gameplay develop before I think they worry about putting anything bigger into game than they've already got. You know, ships like the Hammerhead, the Carrack, the 890 jump, like these ships all kind of require that that type of gameplay already. So yeah, they can implement a lot of those systems on slightly smaller ships, and then if they get it working perfectly on something like the Hammerhead, then that's gonna make the Polaris so much better. When do you think the Orion will be released and playable? I'm not going to put a date on it because I just don't know. I go come with an outside theory. It's that. So I think things to watch out for that might indicate that your Orion is getting closer. Look for the Expanse, because I think they'll look to get like the game systems that go with the Orion online before they worry about actually getting the Orion online, if that makes sense. So they've said fairly recently that, you know, they don't want to be releasing ships without content anymore. Like, they don't want to be releasing them without their gameplay. And so that means that for the Orion to come out, you need refining to be a thing in game. And you also, you know, the Orion uses a different type of mining compared to the Mole. Ooh, sorry about this. We're having some of the slight stuck in the floor bugs that have been hounding another number of ships. So yeah, you need those things to come online first. So watch out for the Expanse, and possibly watch out for whatever the large RSI miner is. Let's like kind of wait and see for that to be released. But my little guess would be, I reckon the large Orion, the large RSI miner, sorry, might use the same type of mining as the Orion uses. I think it might be a mini Orion, because that would help them at a lower down scale get something approximating the Orion. Like, it would help them develop the gameplay. Because I think the other problem with the Orion is if you added the Orion, like, let's just say it was ready now and they could add it in. Like, just given the dimensions of the Orion, you would break Stanton's economy pretty quickly. Just gotta wait for that to catch up, apparently. You know, I take my Orion out to the Aaron Halo and I start mining with my group of probably 4 to 5 mates. And, you know, right now there's a figure around about 270 million credits, which is the amount of money at which you buy every ship in the game. Like, how long would it really take in an Orion? Like, I know people who've done that sort of money grinding things like bunkers and mole mining, prospector mining. Like, so if we had like a huge mining platform, like, how long in the current game economy is it going to take to get to the level where it's just like, all right, got every ship in game now. Now what's my motivation to play? Now what do I do? Just brings some of that sort of stuff into question. All right, let's just make sure. Sorry, I'm just gonna stop it. So I'm pretty sure Port LSR has surges, which I'm definitely gonna need. In case I'm about to crash into Port LSR, do let me know, but I'm alt-tabbed, so might not do me very well. Yes, okay, cool. And stock up on surges from Port Ollie. That's good. And with a bit of luck, they've got Stampedes in stock too. But we'll see, we'll see. Right, that is a really interesting question. The from Arakai. Do you think CRG should make existing ships modular when they add modularity? So things like cutlasses or C2s. So kinda. kinda. I don't want to take credit for this because it was a chap called Badgers, or Drinkers with Gaming Problems, and he summarized a sort of hierarchy of, you know, the best ship for a certain job will be a ship which is completely designed for it. Like then the next best ship for a job will be a modular ship with a module for that thing. Then the next best at the job, and basically the worst but that can do it, will be a jack of all trades ship which can do the thing. So like, you know, put it in the perspective of cargo. Like cargo hauling, yeah, your best ships for cargo hauling are going to be your dedicated cargo haulers, like things like the Hull series. Like the Hull series they are the series of ships which have the most cargo. So if you're just purely looking for cargo haulage, that's where you will go, or maybe something like a Banu Merchantman. Apparently this ladder doesn't want playable. Maybe something like a Banu Merchantman, you know, so dedicated to the task. Then next best thing might be a modular ship. You know, something like a Galaxy with its cargo module, or a Caterpillar set up with its cargo modules, because we've got to just factor in that the Cat is technically a modular ship. And then further down the list are things like your Connie. You know, your Connie can do cargo hauling, but it's not particularly good at it in the grand scheme. But you know, it's obviously a lot better than a Hammerhead. Sorry, Ryokira, if you're watching. But so you go in that step, you know, dedicated, modular, jack of all trades. So I kind of like, for example, that the Cutlass Blue is a dedicated bounty ship. You know, because it gets a lot of advantages in that area and fits more into the dedicated ship category. So like for price point, for all those things, it's a pretty good deal. But what I do wonder is, you know, could I take my Cutlass Black, because I've bought a Cutty Black as like my main package, and then I decide at some point that I really want to get into bounty hunting. Like maybe I try some bounty hunting in my multi-role Cutty, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it so much that I think, you know, that's the thing for me. So then could I take my Cutty Black to somewhere like Cousin Crows and, you know, get them to do a retrofit so that factors in the value of my Cutlass Black. So Cutlass Blue is like 2.5 million credits. Cutlass Black is 1.4 million credits. So maybe like a kit to convert my my Cutlass Black into a Cutlass Blue costs 1 million credits or 1.1 million credits. So, you know, so you don't have to buy a Cutlass Black, then you realize you enjoy it so much you got to start all the way again and grind it up to a Cutlass Blue. Like, okay. So yeah, so that was a very long-winded answer, but that's what I tend to do. I tend to do long-winded answers. It's kind of my thing. Those Stampedes, but I'm pretty sure we got those at Arca 1. You can tell it's kind of my thing. Maybe we'll grab some of those brands. You can tell it's my thing because we're nearly an hour into the stream, and a mining stream. And at some point, I'm going to be ready to go and look for some rocks. Has the mole cargo been made smaller in 3.18? I have not heard this. I feel I would have. For my sins, I've only been out in my mole 1 or 2 times since PTU. I mean, it was 96 SEU in PTU though, and I didn't see them say anything about changing it. So yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on chat. I mean, I think Tachi is completely right. I do think we will see some sort of system of whatchamacallit, of maintenance fees, upkeep fees, all that sort of stuff, and that will because game economies tend to need cash sinks. That's like something which needs to happen, like, because otherwise you get without getting too much into my economics background, that's how you get insane inflation. You can't just constantly be adding and adding and adding money to the economy without any ways to take that out. Otherwise, everybody gets too rich too quickly. What happened to the baseball cap? I'll be honest. Krug ate my baseball cap. He ate my green baseball cap. And then I thought I would go and buy exactly the same baseball cap from exactly the same shop. And I'm not quite sure what was different about it. But something was different about it, and it was nowhere near as... yeah, it was just nowhere near as satisfying. But the good news is, I just ordered a sample of a new Frontier Consolidated baseball cap. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, that will fit my giant head. Well, oh. Game is taking some time to catch up, but thankfully there is my cruise that I dropped on the floor. Yeah, that's cool. I vaguely just remembered we can... Well, we're having an interesting time with drinking on the server. Try and pick it up again. Yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, the average lifespan of a baseball cap. I'll be honest, at some point I found it hilarious that that Krug, he became slightly obsessed with a baseball cap I had early on. He became slightly obsessed with it. He was always trying to get to it. I thought this was funny. Then when that baseball cap had reached the end of its reasonable life, I let Krug go at it. I was like, you go for it, buddy. And we used it as a toy. We had great times, great fun. Unfortunately, I have trained my dog that baseball caps are toys. So it is entirely my own fault. And he will probably now forever see any baseball cap I own as a viable target. And any attempt to do anything like hide it from him, that will all just be part of the game as far as he is concerned. So so yeah, I fully expect the rest of my life to be hiding baseball caps from a dog. Yeah, that's a pretty good shout, Dean. Considering drinking my cruise didn't work there, it will probably be grab a med bed time at the time we go to Arca 1. But we should probably set our spawn there when we get there anyway, so that'll all be good. Yeah. don't worry, I do have some Frontier merch, Silas. I got my cup. I also have a number of hoodies and stuff, but again, black hoodies, white dog. Didn't work too well, to be absolutely honest. Howdy, Radial. How you doing, mate? That's doggy. Alright. Okay, I promise we're going mining. We're doing some mining this weekend though, so I did need to actually get round to setting up the old mole. We just have to hope we aren't gonna end up dying to the rings of Port Olisart. It's always a little bit worrying when you come out of PO. I should also probably be more careful, I think, when leaving places like this. I'm a little bit worried that I just got the enabling ship storage message, so we might get sucked back in if we're not speedy in our getaway. Right. I saw a question about modularity a little while ago, and I was busy struggling with the game at the exact time. Whoever asked it can correct me on it. I think it was along the lines of, how do I think modularity is going to work? If I scroll up in the chat. And I think it will just be a case of going to somewhere like Cousin Crow's and requesting, sort of going into a menu, certainly in its like first iterations. You probably just go into a menu, much like the vehicle manager app that we've got. Go into that and yeah, so just you'll see your list of modules and you'll just be able to select specific ones. And I wonder as well whether part of what I reckon is part of the reason behind the Galaxy was to have a really easy. Sorry, really easy makes it seem like I think anything in game development is easy, which I don't. But yeah, I think part of the reason was to have like a simpler modular ship, just to get down the actually how modularity will work, like how the menus will work, how that sort of stuff will fit together. Whatever the magic they do. That means sort of it goes in one way and comes out the other, is just with a ship, which is, because if you look at the Galaxy, the modules are just one block. It's just a block that fits in, and it just, change this one out, put this one in. Now, compared to even like a Caterpillar, which has it's meant to have 4, I think, interchangeable blocks. There's so many more variations, so because with the Galaxy they could even just fake it, right? They could just build 3 ships, and then depending on what you selected in a menu, a new version of the ship comes out. Yeah, we're gonna go and try and do some quant. Obviously, server performance in general has impacted some of the scanning stuff. So like, a lot of the time during a chilled out session, I would love to just, bomb it out to the Halo and sit out amongst the asteroids. But I don't think the long range scanning is working, based on conversations I've seen with people. So So it is gonna be Lyria or bust. So, just to play devil's advocate, Volf, there is already modularity in game. Technically, the Starfarer's fuel tanks are modular. So like I don't think modularity is remotely impossible. Because like I said, sort of if it's simple enough, like the Galaxy, you can just fake it. You can just have 3 ships and, you know, switch which ship it is. Like with the Endeavor, like, you know how with like different Endeavor modules, you've got different like different named variants of the Endeavor. Like the Endeavor Hope is the combination of hospital module, hangar module. Like the Endeavor Olympic class is 2 biodome modules making 4 biodomes. So I think the point that it could get crazy difficult is if they delivered something like the Endeavor as advertised, where you can just change every individual part and have, like, you know, how many combinations. Somebody who is a mild maths genius will, or, you know, who has access to Google, will be able to tell me how many potential variations of an Endeavor there are. But if they like, you know, they could row back and just say, look, Endeavor too hard. Instead, this, you know, you buy the modules, you'll be able to, if you buy the modules required for the Hope, then you'll be able to switch your Endeavor base into an Endeavor Hope. If you then go around and buy all of the modules, you'll be able to, like, pull out these 4 Endeavor variants or 5 Endeavor variants, like the ones that they've shown concept art of. Which, you know, would it be ideal? No. Would I be happy if it meant I got my Endeavor, you know, in 5 years as opposed to 20? Yeah, I'd be alright with that. Like, I think the Endeavor's a cool ship from the perspective of all the different gameplay it potentially offers. So... yeah, there is also potentially a financial argument behind variance over modularity. Although, you know, how many Galaxies did they sell? I reckon it was probably a lot. So, like, at the same time, sort of, you know, people just like to feel they're getting good value, and I have to say, like, you know, I didn't like the Galaxy because of modularity, because it was another modular ship when they haven't really released any of these modular ships they've sold. And my view on the Galaxy was, I would like to wait and see until modularity is actually a thing. This ladder is not where it was before. Been down that mole ladder thousands of times. It's not working as it used to. So, like, I've almost sort of forgotten what I was saying in that mix. Ah, yeah, financials, I think it was. You know, the Galaxy really struck me sort of when I was doing that latest video, and I included it as the first ship for 5 mates. It really all of a sudden, like, struck me as, like, this is what it is. Like, this is a ship for like 3, 4, 5 good friends. You know, who like, you know, your mates that you tend to play most of your games with. This is the ship that you're that you're meant to, meant to buy. Not necessarily for cash, but like, maybe you'll start out in something else. Maybe you start all in your starter ships and you buy a constellation together, and then you fly around in your constellation until you've earned enough money for a galaxy. Then you use the galaxy to make the money for the additional modules, and then all of a sudden you've got like a ship which offers you like, that's your ship, and that offers you like 3 really good elements of gameplay. Okay. Yeah. Let's also set our regeneration here, as well as having intravenous burrito. Yeah, the Retaliator, Lucky. The Retaliator is a really interesting ship. Particularly as like I like the idea of it as a smuggler. Like smuggling cargo ship, or maybe even like kind of a under the radar passenger transport. I do just love the look of the ship as well. Like the Retaliator's one, which I always get in. I always all of a sudden remember how cool it looks. Yeah, and we also just need to get... Can anyone remember, did I transfer those surges into the mole when I was at PO? I don't think I did, Oof. This is what chatting bollocks will get you. Oh. That has made me sad and a little embarrassed, I'm not gonna lie. Buys 20 surges, forgets to move them. Classic. This is the downfall of streaming as opposed to making videos, because I make plenty of stupid mistakes when I make videos, but I get to use the magic of video editing to make it look like I only make half of the mistakes I make. So, right, we can buy the stampedes. Let's buy a nice stash of these, so we don't have to come here again. But yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I think when it comes to like modular ships, I think sort of having a CCU to them, that's all you need, right? The slight difference with the Galaxy is it's a very effectively priced Carrack for right now. So oof. Try to think, right, where's the closest place I'm going to be able to get my hands on some surges? I'm sorry about this. I am sorry about this. It's the end of the week. We go for 2 options. We can either go and hope we don't find big rocks, but that's going to be the moment that we do find big rocks, right? Or we can quickly go and find the closest place that sells surge. Just see. Oh, Arc L2. Arc L2 sells surges. Okay. It's made things slightly better. We'll stick our stampedes on. We'll make a very quick stop off at Arc L2 and then we'll go Lyria. Yeah, potentially the Odyssey could come out before the Polaris. I mean, having the Carrack in game, the Odyssey is a ship of a similar size, right? So Okay. I've got to remember that 318 requires 10 times the patience. So you gotta like click on stuff, and then you just gotta wait. Then just don't do what we usually do, which is like clicking around loads. Oh wait. Oh, amazing. Seems I did pick up my surges. Or maybe I had some here already. Right, we're gonna set one of the lasers up with Surge Stampede. And we're gonna have a little bit of Brant on the main laser. Make things a little easier. Yeah, and the Galaxy with the refinery module. The one thing which mildly ticks me off, shall we say, about the Galaxy. Could they not have made it a bit bigger and made that hangar accommodate a prospector? Like, that's just my one thing. I'm like, it's perfect with the C8R for the medical bit, but like, you know, couldn't you have a hangar which was big enough for one prospector or two C8Rs? Like, because a hospital of the size of the Galaxy with like, you know, eight beds, you kind of almost want like, you know, a bit like they've said the Endeavour is going to have a hangar big enough for two Cutlass Reds. I think when you're running a hospital, I think you need at least two ambulances, not just the one. But yeah, chances are, yeah, the whole thing around like ship-based refining is to avoid having to go to these stations where, you know, everybody knows you're gonna be. Right. Got my gun, got ammunition. It's 318. Don't go anywhere without a gun. Right, that's interesting, pilot. The Odyssey needs refining and tractor beams. Ah, sorry, you mean the Odyssey needs refining gameplay and tractor beams to come in. The Odyssey kind of doesn't need refining though, does it? Because it's not really doing like the... It's not gonna do the main proper refining process. Seems that getting on a mole these days is going to be a little bit of a fairground ride, apparently. Yeah, so because the Odyssey's refinery is like a self-contained thing just for doing quantanium into quantum fuel. I think it could bypass, you know, the refineries required for like the MISC expanse. And ultimately the Galaxy with its refinery module. I, for one, am really glad that the Odyssey does not have, like, isn't a refinery ship, if that makes sense. I think that would make it OP. Particularly since it can fit a prospector in its hangar. They want people like you to buy both. Fair. That is fair. But yeah, this is the thing. Ship refining will come, and it will just move the dials a little bit. Because yeah, this is one of the bottlenecks of the mining world. You know, I have to go to one of was it five viable locations realistically. Because the new ones are like Arc L2 and Mic L2 have such huge debuffs on Quant that you wouldn't go there. I think it's like minus 25% at each one of them. So you know, everybody knows that we're going to be going to 1 out of 5 locations around Stanton, and that is a major disadvantage. You know, just gank at those locations or en route to those locations, although you can get around that with just doglegging. Well, thanks for sticking with me through the shopping trip. That was that made it a lot more interesting. But we are finally going to go and do some mining. Or if you've just turned up, we just stuck 500,000 credits worth of quant in the refinery. You know, we're just back out for more. Honestly, the first hour was not just going round equipping my mole. Have CIG ever mentioned refining or processing for salvaged material as well as mined? Yes, is the... I can just give a short, sharp answer to that. It's brilliant. More questions that I can answer that easily, please. Although it doesn't help me drag things out, does it? But no, they definitely said it's in the Expanse Q&A that the Expanse can process materials from both mining, like ores, and salvage. So they talked about the Expanse in terms of its synergy with the Prospector and the Vulture. Although they did also specify, just before anybody asks about that, they did also specify that it works with them all. Because if you take a look, well, actually, before we get too far into the... let's just roll the ship around so that we get some light. There we go. Well, bit of oversteer on the mole as usual. So if you take a look in on the saddlebags, we get nice and close. You'll notice that the saddlebags are made by Misk. So even though, you know, this is an Argo ship, they're still using Misk saddlebags. A bit like, you know, how modern day car companies work. You know, just because it's a Subaru or whatever doesn't mean it won't have parts from Volkswagen. I mean, just before anybody who is really into cars calls me out on that and points out that Subarus have absolutely no parts from Volkswagen. I don't know, I just picked out the first 2 car names that came into my head. And I think you can tell by the 2 that I picked, the boy racer I was, and the boring space dad I now am. So hey Onijan, how you doing, mate? Yes, don't worry, I am planning to make more getting organized. In fact, and this is more just a give me a little straw poll here, if you don't mind, folks. How would you feel? Like, would you watch a stream of getting organized? If we sort of, because I was thinking I could maybe make it into a, stream where we sort of talk through, and then then I'll make the video. So like, we could have a stream where we look through the all the options, chat it through. Yeah, Jimmy, I am gonna go and get a drink. I can feel the scratchiness. I finished my coffee. Just call it a scratchy voice though, man. Vocal fry. A few people have pulled out vocal fry as a term, and it's just like, yeah, okay, you just wanted to make me Google that. So it's just a scratchy voice, you know. You can say, have a drink, man. It's okay. Awesome. Yeah, yeah. Because it'd be cool. We could just could maybe even get a few different people on as well for Across Frontier, because I think it'd be cool to like to bat some ideas back and forth. An offensive war fleet. Yeah, don't worry, Jimmy. I know. I googled it. I googled it when the last person made me Google the term vocal fry. But yeah, it's because I haven't had hydration. Because while I made sure that my character was stocked up on cruise, I haven't given myself enough cruise lux. I know you're just looking out for me. It's alright. It's alright, and I will go and get a drink the moment I find some Quantanium rocks. Yeah, so all of the streams are going to I'm going to get better at this. I did from the last one. All of the streams are going to go up on the Frontier Consolidated channel, which I will stick a link up to. Again, the moment I find quant, some stuff will happen when I find some Quantanium. One, I will go and get a liquid beverage for myself out of game. And two, I will post a link to the Frontier Consolidated channel, because that's where all of the stream VODs are going to live. And also, we're going to work on... Right, okay, I'll go get a drink now. I'll go get a drink now, Mum. It's alright. Right, I'll be back in 1 second. There we go. There we go. We got some beverage. But yeah, also on the Frontier Consolidated channel, we're going to put up more stuff to do with like events. So quick videos, less editing, because believe it or not, editing does take a while, particularly with my skills. So yeah. Yeah, YouTube chat does there's a slightly weird thing where it will jump forward massively. It's almost like it saves up the messages and then it blurts them all in one go. Yeah, Jimmy, I primarily make videos on YouTube. Streaming is a new thing for me. So I've tried it on and off. But yeah, I try to get a bit more into it. Mostly because it's just a bit fun. But what I do find with it is you find yourself sort of on and talking for a lot longer. I know it sounds really obvious, but that does play havoc on the old voice. All right, that was a false duo. Not Quantanium, unfortunately. Yeah, I've unfortunately got I've got a list of things. Got a list of things that needs doing that it never ends. It's a constant revolving revolving thing, and unfortunately some stuff which wouldn't actually take that much time just ends up going further and further and further down the list. This more immediate stuff takes over. But yeah, Twitch is also quite new for me. I've primarily just been streaming on YouTube, but I did find out recently how to make Streamlabs work with both, which was of course like horrendously easy compared to once you knew where the thing was. So yeah, I thought why not get on Twitch as well. What's been better dollars, mining or salvage? Unfortunately, that is going to be shit tons of gems rather than a quantanium, but that's going to be a lot of gems, I'm pretty sure. Sometimes, even when I'm in a mole, I just like to go and look at how many gems I could have had if I'd brought a rock with me instead. So yeah, which has been better profit-wise, mining or salvage? I would say mining is still king. In terms of pure, if you're just in it for the money, pure AUC per hour, mining's got to be your thing, frankly. And even other stuff as well, like you know, once you get your rep up, like the service beacons, bunkers, that sort of stuff can be, you know, if you are just in it for profit, can actually outpace the salvage. Salvage is just really fun though. There's something very relaxing and cathartic about salvaging. And one of the things which I do really like about it is how well it lends itself to multi-crew. Yeah, it's a really fun activity to be doing in a group. Let's maybe head out, because I fear I'm heading a bit towards the point we dropped in towards. I'm finding lots of singles. Just for anyone who doesn't mind, what we're doing at the moment is just letting out pings, and then I'm scanning over each of the returns, and I'm looking for things which are multiples of 1700. But starting from 3,400 upwards is what I want. And the reason I'm doing that is because 1,700 is the signature of the RS signature of an individual rock. And when you find more than one rock together in a cluster on Lyria, it's going to be Quantanium. Yeah, that is the other thing with salvage, to be fair, particularly in Pirate Patch, like Driz is absolutely correct. Salvage is a lot easier to stay safe doing, because you can very easily salvage purely out in the halo, and then you very importantly trespassing, better head off in another direction. So yeah, you can much more easily avoid any predictable route between salvaging and selling than you can with mining. Like with mining, you have to go to one of those refineries, and that means that there is that bottleneck in which it's much easier to catch you. So there we go. So we got an RS signature just in this bit here, off to the left hand of my screen, of 3,400. Cheers, Radial. Thanks for stopping by, mate. But yeah, so whereas, and also sort of with mining, you know, you do have to factor in that you take it, you refine it, and then you have a trade run. So you've got like 2 areas of risk, right? You've got you can bring in and stack up your cargo ship with plentiful material, and then you could get stopped, or you could just run into a game bug on the way with your cargo. I worry that we've been foisted by another false double. Yeah, so those rocks are not a cluster because they're just that bit too close together, a bit too far apart. It's a little bit annoying, but from a distance they still come up as a 3400 signature. So that said, while salvage is lower risk, frankly, so for all the fuss and all of the hours on YouTube it gets, you know, there are not that many pirate players in Star Citizen. It could get to be more. I can definitely see some crimes of opportunity happening. As people are just like, there might be some normal law-abiding citizens out there who might well take the opinion of like, oh well, I mean, we're outside of Comaray. That vulture over there, you know, he does have 20 SCU of RMC. Yeah. The on the clock never worried me too much, to be honest, Drez. It's like, it's a perfectly long clock for what it is. Like, as long as when you're Quantanium mining, as long as you remember the golden rule of not picking stuff up until you're ready to pick it all up. You know, I think the mistake we all probably made when we started Quantanium mining was the classic of like breaking the first rock and starting to scoop, starting that 15-minute timer when we'd still got loads of stuff we had to do. But if you leave it all the way to the end, I mean, like, there's time to scoop a full 96 SCU and still get to the but the risk around the concentration of where you have to go is undeniable. Whereas, yeah, with salvage, it is possible to be impossible to pirate if you want to be. Like, you know, there's way more chance of you getting randomly interdicted by NPCs than by players. As long as you're doing your part, like, you know, do not take any direct routes between anywhere. Make sure you're coming in on a completely off the charts route, and you will be safe. There's more chance you'll get stopped when you're, you know, and shot down when you're just taking yourself out of a hangar at a space station or whatever. So, might not fly directly into the sun. That might be quite blinding. Salvage is just really relaxing. So yeah, unfortunately the free look hasn't seemed to be working. It would make more sense now that they've locked the RS signatures to the head scanner. Maybe it does though. Let's just check. If that does work, then that would be particularly good with something like a Toby Toby eye tracker, but right now I seem to be getting the better results, throwing my ship around forcefully. The thing I think they've got quite right about salvage as well is like the balance of finding salvage, and you know, it seems to take longer to actually do the salvaging than the mining process takes, but it seems like there's a lot less scanning time as such in the average salvage find versus the average Quantanium find. And part of that's because like you aren't concerned, right, about, like, you've got no concern about the quality of the salvage you find, really. You know, there's the fact that the panels are better than like the wrecks of C2s and things, but sort of any panel is a good panel, that sort of thing. Whereas in mining world, you know, we might scan a whole bunch of quant rocks tonight, and you know, theoretically it's mathematically possible that we would find no quant rocks worth mining because they're all too low percentage or something. And yeah, T-Jack is right. You can, if you're scooping fast enough, you can even at some points get bumps in your clock. I feel I did not pick a good I didn't pick a good spot to come mine. I think it seems to be, I don't know, could very well be just that servers are lasting a lot longer, or it could be that I'm just distracted reading chat and talking general nonsense, and therefore I'm not being very good at actually piloting my ship. Finally found some Quantanium though. Good times. Now just pray to the quant gods with me a little bit for a couple of nice percentages. Good to see the shooting of rocks is a viable tactic still. 6.19%. That's a no. Usually you only have to shoot the one rock in the cluster. That's quite nice. 17%. No, not good enough. Yeah, Dingbat. So I have absolutely tried mining other stuff other than quant. It's just unfortunately just not worth it. Sort of if you're out to make some cash, you're just quite simply best off. And that is I talked about that a little bit in the video I made after the mining ISC. I really hope there is motivation coming down the road to mine not Quantanium. I don't know that I necessarily have a specific number per se, Driz. I like to see about 30 SU of potential. I'd say at least like a full prospector. Load is my bottom number, but my bottom number does tend to fluctuate depending on how long I've been out scanning. Dub, you're gonna have to let me know your secrets on Reclaimers, mate. Every time I take a reclaimer out, I get about between 20 and last night was 40 boxes in, and then we get the bug where the cargo gets stuck at 0 out of 0. Not the cargo on the lasers. So basically the lasers just stop extracting. And we did realize we adjusted for the bug where if you start scraping before it calms down, and there's a point at which it'll go from 0 out of 0 to 0 out of 1 on the HUD. And if you start scraping before that tick over happens, then it can screw you a little bit, bug the laser out for a bit. But yeah, without fail, my claimer has broken at some point into each trip, and unfortunately consistently at a point where it's ended up with us paying each crew member like between 5 and 10 boxes. which always sort of just made the whole process, that we should have just taken some vultures out. Vultures have been working really consistently for me. Oh, Flaro, I am very sorry to hear that you have been unable to get into game. My greatest sympathies are with anybody who's been struggling. We tried all sorts of stuff, Pilot. We tried lots of like hopping out, changing seats, all that sort of stuff. Maybe it's just the chopper. Maybe my beautiful reclaimer is cursed. But that has just been happening all over the shop to me, despite all of my attempts to make it go away. Oh, that's promising. That should be another pair by the looks of it. Ah, right, yeah. No, so have you been having the same sort of problem, Dub, or is it just me? Maybe you can be on Team Loud here and say it happens to you too. Let's go give all these rocks a preemptive shot now, because they do seem to, for the most part, be requiring a little laser-based encouragement before they decide to scan. Oh, it's a goodie. That's a goodie. Okay, 6,500 mass and 38%. A 3k. Okay, so that's only 3%. So that's cool. We got one good rock. So I have found the secret to the reclaimer lift. If anybody is interested. And it is, you have exactly one go at calling the lift to another floor than the one it's on. So you can either enter through it and sort of call it down to the ground that first time, or one of you can call it from like the habitation deck and get on it there. After that one call, if anybody who is on a different floor, like, so if, let's just say somebody's going down to like help the guy in the box room, help him out a bit. If somebody runs from like the bridge through the habitation deck and heads to the salvage calls it when the lift is down on the salvage processing deck, broken lift. Like, broken for everyone, nothing's gonna fix that. So what you have to do is effectively, like, one of you has to be the bell boy or bell girl. Like, and if you want to get somebody else down to the salvage processing deck, the person on the salvage processing deck has to take the lift and bring it up to the habitation deck. Other person gets on, then it will always move until that first moment that you call it from somewhere else. Every patch. All right, it's just being slow, much like everything else. There we go. Okay. So obviously, if we mess this up, we're very dead. That's the type of mining I enjoy the most, to be fair. I'm pretty sure at 6,500 mass that this is gonna require a Surge Stampede. Just a little bit. I'm a little bit worried about the amount of lag that I'm getting here, because as you can see, this is not behaving particularly well. I might have to try another laser, because that is being very, very odd. Can anyone in chat remember number 2 laser on the mole? Is that right or left? I want to say right. It's 50-50. I know I put the second Lancer into slot 2. So we'll have to see. Unless the stream delay catches up before I move the mole and someone very forcefully announces that it's definitely the right-hand laser. Left, left, left. Okay. There we go. Go with your drizzle. You said it with confidence, which was more than I had. I'm just a bit worried about this. I'm hoping that was some sort of bug with my middle laser. I'm worried that it's more likely an awful lot of desyncing or something. Sorry, you might be hearing my wife Ali's in the background with the dog. You might be indicating that it's his time to go out. You have to get used to that new ladder dismounting. Always live on the edge in the mole, Drizzle. It's the only way to do it. That's the point where I get jealous of Prospector pilots, because at least they get the joy of just running away if they overcook a rock with Surge Stampede. Mole pilots are in it, rain or shine. Well, solo mole pilots. Okay, we're not quite as close this time, but we're still very definitely in the death zone. So let's just hopefully see if that was just bugging out on my other laser. I'm a little bit worried that it is the game though. This is a new bug, unfortunately. First time I'm encountering this in a mole. I'm not touching anything. And the laser is just deciding to to do its own thing. So, does anybody else run into this? Again, it's my hand. Right, cycling extraction mode to mining mode. And I might just try throwing a module in just to see if that's gonna... settle things down at all. Okay. Star Citizen, it's being Star Citizen. I hope some of the people who aren't able to get into game are still watching. Just for the enjoyment of seeing that they're not necessarily missing out on a lot. We're still gonna risk it though. Go drop another surge. Nope. I think what I might have to do is I might have to try logging and finding a different server. Joyous. 38% of Quantanium. I was already counting my money. And that is the thing that you never do. Don't count your money until it is in the bank. Now, I haven't personally had any problems with bed logging, but I've been told that it has caused no end of issues for other people. Get worried, did I leave all of my Oh dear. Well, at least we should be able to go back to just Bajini Point. We don't have to go all the way back to Arco 1. Yeah, Drizzy, I would quite happily take a buddy, but it's the main issue we have here is just the laser wouldn't maintain power. It kept on just flip-flopping all over the place. So, which is sad, but not the end of the world. So yeah, apparently that is just happening on bad servers. And to be fair, this server is getting incredibly laggy. So I think we can just do a region change. That'll probably work. Thank you very much, Drews. But yeah, I'm just going to go to Bajini Point and log there. Yeah, US servers always seem to be... They do tend to perform better, to be absolutely honest. I've noticed that despite being primarily an EU player myself. But yeah, it's just, you know, very much I reckon 3.18.0 is just an extension of the PTU. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see major improvements whenever the 3.18.1 patch gets in. So no, didn't Matt, you can't currently reload modules anywhere but a space station. But that being said, that's part of the excitement of the ISC that they did last night. So they were talking in that about ship parts and stuff being detachable. and components being detachable. And I would imagine as part of that, because they said about how you could potentially like find, you know, a power plant on a wreck, and you could use it to change over your own power plant or change the guns on your ship to the ones that you find on a wreck. But I wonder if that will filter into you being able to do things like, you know, carry multiple mining lasers with you and change them out on the fly, refit modules on the fly, that sort of stuff. So. That's interesting. So Dingbat was playing on EU servers from Canada, and he was fine, whereas I seem to, from the UK, have the best success on American servers. Maybe it's something to do with maybe you just have to cross the pond, you know. Maybe you just have to go outside of your home region to the point where the latency makes up for the desync. Maybe that's the key. I think, to be honest, in the current, oh, I thought this was going to be an internal one, sorry. I think in the current build, I think the quality of whatever server you're on makes a lot more difference than the region you're in. So, you know, you might just get lucky with, one of you might have got lucky with an Asian server, one of you might have got lucky with an EU one. I've just happened to get lucky with some US ones. Getting lucky with US servers, but not getting lucky with correctly identifying where my hangar exactly is. I've had a few moments over the last couple of days where I've realized I need to grow up. I need to stop refusing the fact that I need glasses. So I am. There we go. They're just under. I was looking at it the wrong way up. Oh, that could be it, Cyclone. But for all the other things that have plagued the 318 build, there's every chance that they've just messed up, and they're telling us, oh dear God, they're telling us that the servers which are listed as US are US when they're actually EU, and the Asian ones are actually, you know, the Australian ones. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, that does seem to be, like, it's quite a lot of the time, like, if I was playing during European evening, I would play quite happily on Australian servers, for instance. Oh, well, apparently we're just gonna get impounded. Speed parking, as I like to call it. So yeah, let's just let Drizzle know and go just server hop. There we go, express elevator. And we'll just get a new server. Does anybody know the architecture of the server stacks? If there's an XML file containing all the server shards? I am not that person, let's just say. Maybe there is somebody in chat who is clever enough to know that sort of stuff. Nope. Not me. I like that though, Seth. Impounding is just law enforcement parking for you. Absolutely, absolutely correct. Yeah, so let's head to the USA. It's like a valet service that you pay 5,000 credits for. Highly reasonable amount of money for free for quick parking. Oh, that's interesting, Emsor. I haven't seen that. That should be coming up in our Tracker SC, but I haven't. There is something in Tracker SC. I just haven't been on it this evening. Do you have another link? Very chance you got a link to that to where they've said that M-Store about a stress test of 318 spot 1 this weekend. That would be very good news. Because the people I feel the sorriest for are those who just can't get into game at all. Like practically everything else it can be worked around. You know, it's not fun. But you know, if you can't claim a ship at Lawville, you can ask somebody else to come and get you from Lawville. If you know, just pretty much every bug, like my reclaimer doesn't work, boohoo, I can go mining, or I can go and take out a vulture, go shoot some bounties in my Vanguard. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff you can do. The people I really feel sorry for are those who just cannot play whatsoever. Nice. Spectrum announcements. Cool. I shall venture onto Spectrum. Something which I tried to do as little as possible. But let's just take a quick look at that. Because, yeah. I will be practicing what I preach. I made a video recently about how basically more testers are needed. And I think this is my type of testing, right? Because I'm not a huge fan of filing out the paperwork on the issue council. I do it. I go in peaks and troughs over how much I do it. I just like, but I can more than happily jump into a PTU and just do random stuff, do the stuff that you normally would do. Help out that way. But I do stick to what I said in that video. I think that CIG do need to look at, they need to look at some sort of way, like they need to say something like, we're going to do a stress test of this build to fix our game. If you come and play in this stress test for at least 90 minutes, or you know, you log on during that time, then you'll get some form of reward. Oh, hello indeed, Mr. Don't worry. I'm more than happy for you to... You can skip the formalities if you're telling me information about a stress test and a potential for 318 spot 1. Because I think that's what we've all been waiting for, really. Yeah, so this is the thing. I just think there needs to be... Because what a lot of people do, and like, I can't stress enough how there's nothing wrong with this. Like, how I'm not saying, like, bad community, you're not testing hard enough, etc. I'm not saying that. Although someone might, well, just clip that bit, like, specifically where I say bad community. What I'm saying is, like, people will often go in to a PTU, buy the new ship that's come out in the shop with whatever credits they get given, go and test out the new mechanic, and then basically be like, right, that's me, I'm done. Because I don't want to, like, there's no progression in this PTU. There's no real progression here. Why would I want to play this and be bored of it by the time it comes out? So like the fear there is, you know, 319 comes around and yeah, it's like, let's jump in and check out the new tractor beams. Cool, I've checked out the new tractor beams. Those are going to be great. And, you know, then people either go back to playing live if there's not a wipe, you know, because at least in live your credits are going to carry over. Or they just take a bit of a break from the game. Like, you know, it's good to... It's good, I think, to sort of view Star Citizen in its current state a bit like that. Like, I'll play something else from my Steam library whenever I'm getting a little bit frustrated or anything like that. So I think CIG need to respect that if they want mass participation in PTUs and stuff, then they need to give something. They need to give out something cool. They need to incentivize. I think sort of looking at some of the stuff they've done quite successfully, like, you know, for events in game, things like the Vandal Mask, things like the... I won't talk too much about that because I know it offends some people. And don't get me wrong, I understand why. Better example, less annoying example, the CDF armor that you got for gaining X rep in Xenothreat. Like, that was really good, like in-game rewards for in-game stuff, and I just think they could extend that to the PTU. And just improve the amount of people getting involved that way. That's my personal little crusade. I'll bring it up at Bar Citizen when I've had a few too many ciders. A few too many ciders for me is approximately 3 ciders, just so you know as well. I'm not a big drinker. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky to know. So like they used to in all the. I think they stopped doing it. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong on this. But I think it was all the PTUs that I played in before 317. You got given 15 million credits, and then they stopped doing that all of a sudden. And I'm not sure why they did. So the fact that they, you know, if they'd never given you large amounts of money and then they, like, that would be, there must have been a reason that they stopped giving everyone loads of money. And personally, I wonder whether it is something to do with, you know, so like in this PTU, they wanted us testing the salvage gameplay, so they gave everybody a reclaimer and a vulture. And I wonder if they give you like 20 million credits or 15 million credits, if what they find is actually people just go to the PTU to test out all the ships that they've been interested in testing out. Again, I feel the need to just go and look down. I've never seen Nara's signature for gems as high as 8,060. I just want to go and see how many gems this is. I should have gone rock mining. Oh, it's a metric ton. Would help if I put my VTOL on before I made flight maneuvers like that, though. Hey, Bigfoot Wookie. How you doing, man? Yeah, Dr. Cyclone, there are a good few issues with paints at the moment. It's you know, there's something to do with making purchases in store. The great irony, making purchases in store is now officially the way to get less stuff on your account, as it seems to like when you do that, stealing all your other paints. That said, I think it's just a 318 issue, you know. It's like, stuff is weird, right? And those paints they're by no means forever gone. They'll be back. But don't get me wrong, I understand it's annoying. Everybody loves their favorite paints, right? I love my favorite paints. Yep, somebody was just saying that there is apparently a PTU stress test of 318 spot 1 this weekend. Announced on Spectrum. I do find Spectrum really hard to navigate. Not gonna lie. Thanks, Big Show. Yeah, I'm giving it a go. I am not very good at it yet. It is quite hard to, particularly in a game which involves flying ships around. Like, I promise my flying isn't normally this bad. But I have found that playing with mouse and keyboard is much easier when I'm doing this, because I can just reach other stuff a bit easier. So that means I have to get used to mouse and keyboard flying, and all of the chat and stuff is on another monitor, so kind of flying on peripheral vision, if that makes sense. I think I need to do a few changes and stick the second monitor like above the first one or something. So I'm not quite so flying quite so blind the whole time. But thank you very much to all of you for hanging out with me while I try and practice this whole streaming thing. It's I will get better, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I think I saw a 3,400. We'll see. So Big Show, if you're trying to get up the nerve and motivation to edit videos and stuff like that, like I was sat a couple of years ago watching Board Gamer, and he was doing one of his AMAs, and somebody made a comment about videos, and he said something along the lines of, yeah, just do it, because like it's not that hard, you know. And he basically said, like, if I can do it, you can do it. And that's what I am now passing on to you, because that's what made me get off my ass and go, and I was like, yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go. You know, and he was in many ways right. Like, it's not hard to go out and make a video. It's very, very, very hard, and obviously skill that people like go to university and continuously study for the rest of their lives to make a good video, to make great videos. And speaking of great, 7,902 mass, 27% quant. We'll take that. Drizzle, when you get this message, on me. But yeah, so the great thing about it is, like, you can keep going at it. Like, there's always like, you can improve, you can learn more stuff. But the thing there is, like, you'll never you'll never get the chance to improve. Like, your first video will not be great. I went back and watched my first video. Terrible. Terrible. Like, I didn't even, like, I didn't know anything about voiceovers or anything like that. So I literally just, like, it was like that Quantanium mining guide. At times, like, I had to restart. I restarted the whole run just because I fluffed up talking through it so much. Like, I was just like, there's nothing wrong with my mining. My mining's fine. But I've just got really fluffed over my words. Better go and start again. So I think it took 3 or 4 goes. But you know, there would, like, and I still wouldn't say like I'm entirely happy with my videos. I view them as something that will just get better over time. Right, excellent. So that bug that we were having before does just seem to be a bug. And Drizzle is incoming. We'll just go duo mine this, because, you know, thanks, Drizzle. It'll make... As much as I enjoy Surge stampeding, I'm not sure I would totally enjoy getting sent in cartwheels in front of everybody. Yeah, we'll just wait for Driz to get his laser on it as well. And Big Show, if you'd like any help, please let me know. I'm not saying I am a brilliant video maker, but I do know some stuff which I wish I'd known before I made all of the mistakes. So cool. Hopefully Driz is gonna give me like 50%. Might have to type to him. If I'd thought ahead, I could have set up the Discord streaming channel and dragged Drizzle into it. But there we go. Hopefully he knows that I'm gonna surge. Alright. Ooh, there's a bit of lag here. We should have established which one of us was support laser and which one of us was the lead. We're just gonna do it off the off what each other's lasers look like. This is like no hands mining. Only it's no comms mining. Beautiful break. Those prospector lights are... They need to take some of those and strap them on the vulture. That's what they need to do. So yeah, we're just going to start chopping all this up. Just whenever quad mining, just make sure you crack everything that's got a gram of quant in it. And what we can do here is sort of Driz is just adding 0% and just bumping up the instability and resistance buffs from the Lancet lasers. This is why quant mining as a pair is incredibly effective. The Ion doesn't need a light quite as much as industrial ships. You need to light up that big massive target that you're missing. Although Ben was telling me with glee yesterday that the Ion has it's had its time out in the cold, and apparently in 3.18 it's a lot better. Means I need to set about buying one. So yeah, just don't be tempted to scoop any of those nice purple pieces until you're done with everything. Let's see. Realizing that reading chat while mining is it's kind of amongst the most dangerous things I've done so far this evening. Ooh. Hopefully if we just let that cool by the time it breaks, you'll have barely any red in it. There we go. Not too bad. Maybe not 100% professional. Right, so that's all inert. What can sometimes be useful to do though, particularly when you're in a mole, is to still break some of the so that piece, for example, I'm just going to break really quickly because it's just in the way. And what I am going to do is chuck a stampede on this just to make it go really quick. Just because you don't necessarily want to get into the realm of having to move around. You know, everything you can do to just improve your visibility without having to leave the seat and go back to the pilot seat just saves time in the long run. So breaking a quick piece like that just gives you more chance of being able to see everything else in the pile, and then you won't miss the Quantanium bits. Yeah, that's only got 14%, but it's still worth doing. Hopefully by the time it gets up there, my stampede will have run out. Oh, hello from the UK to Australia. Fortunate, mate. Fortunate, mate. I just got it. Fortunate, mate. Well, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Out of interest, just out of curiosity, what video was it that got you? Also, don't drink and mine, guys. That can also be dangerous. Particularly when you're going for that like last bit of orange juice in the bottom of your glass. You have to really tilt your head back and take your eyes off the laser. I forgot how peaceful Quantanium mining is though. This is the thing, I'm really looking forward to when with ship refining, this is the thing which like really excites me about the refining. Like when we can get to a point with mining where we can like take the bags off the, I'm just gonna see if Driz wants to crack this and I'll be a support laser. Yeah, when we can take the bags off and do like ship refining out in the belt, or even like here on Lyria. There's no, you can do that one. So yeah, when we can like switch around so we can take the saddlebags off and we can actually have a mining op on the go. One of the things which I really look forward to is the fact that that will mean that like miners spend a lot more time mining. I know it sounds dumb, but it's like it'll be efficient then to basically it'll be efficient to mine. Ooh, I'm gonna turn off my laser. Just gonna let Driz get that one. Because I think maybe the on smaller bits in particular, the moles laser even at 0 power might have a bit of power. But yeah, so when you don't have to worry about doing refinery runs back and forth, it's all about just keeping active effectively, and you don't have to worry so much as well about like how much inert material you're picking up. So all of a sudden a 20% Quantanium rock becomes a viable rock to break. And I just think that that is going to mean that like those players who are really into mining will have more of a chance to just mine, you know. Be a case of like just take what's in front of you. Which yeah, I think, you know, because let's face it, sort of the scanning is not as fun as this part, as breaking rocks up and scooping them up. Like the scanning's just the bit you kind of do to get to that bit. Right, it's looking. I think I've been really cruel, and I think I've left Drizzle the hardest bit to break. That is, for some reason, that combination of materials is seems particularly troublesome. Right, I think based on everything I can see that it is scooping time. And hopefully Driz will also just scoop, but if we've got both of our capacities, we don't have to worry about being too picky. But probably best to like start with some of the good Quantanium pieces. There we go. Yeah, tractor beams, ship tractor beams are going to be huge. Going to be huge in so many different ways. One of the joyous things about the mole is you don't even necessarily have to wait for every time for the scan to go. You can just start extracting, and as long as you watch the bottom right of your screen and see that Quantanium going up, you can just carry on. That one, yeah, it is. Do I reckon to the state of rock mining? So I don't think rock mining is underpaid, because the rock costs, what is it, 100 something thousand in game, right? So like when I first started playing Star Citizen and I didn't really know what I was doing, I watched a guide, I learned about rock mining, went out and started doing it. And you know, through that I made, because I also didn't understand what I should be looking to buy, I wanted a Connie Aquila for some reason, and so I you know, through rock mining I ground out like the 5 odd million credits to buy one. Rock mining is not hugely profitable, but it's more than profitable enough to make, you know, to make you the 2 and a bit million for a prospector, and then you take the 2 and a bit million prospector and you make enough to buy your first cargo ship. So I think actually rock mining, like when it works, I think rock mining is in a fairly good place. You know, it's just, it is that like earlier progression thing. I think a lot more things in, and this is just like, and I don't want to say it's one of the problems with Star Citizen's business model, but it's one of the downsides, let's say, in terms of like an MMO experience, because like in most MMOs we would all be starting in that same, like, you know, Sorry, I know I'm scooping some inert materials, but I'm just trying to get to what's under it. We'd all be starting in that entry-level progression, like, profession. And so, like, while you're grinding away in your rock and I'm grinding away in my mole, you would know that at some point in the past I was in my rock. I was where you were. And the slight issue with the way Star Citizen has funded by selling ships is that some people, you know, you are just paying to skip that grind. That said, I do just sometimes find rock mining really enjoyable. Just quite nice to be, you know, zooming around in a little buggy. Particularly again, and like this is what I will say about many things in Star Citizen world. Better with a mate. Like so much better with a friend. You just, you know, got one of you to fly the ship, one of you to jump in and out in that buggy. All of a sudden it becomes so much more enjoyable. Right, I think we found. So this is the problem with mining solo in a mole. Being unable to like necessarily change your position so much means that you do end up sometimes finding, particularly this is a downside of surface mining, you do tend to find some yellow bits underneath the pile. That said, none of them claim to have any quantanium in them. And 36 SCU, I mean this was what, a 28% rock. 7-ish K mass. I don't know, maybe that's feeling about right. There we go, got one extra little bit there. Just try this. Yep, I think that should be us done. So I think I've tried all those. I probably shouldn't take any longer because I've got 10 minutes to get back to the station. Yeah, would be more fun to have. I think Silas's comment there about how it'd be more fun to have more minables than Hadnite and Quant, because like that is the downside to the current way things are. I think really what we need to see for that to change is crafting and a build out of the economy. You know, it needs to be like Wormskull over at Frontier did this really interesting he sort of trialed this really interesting little idea where he put together a work order. So an imaginary work order for like, you know, Grey Cat needs, and then he sort of had this list of various stuff, and like it was some stuff that you could only mine, it was some stuff that you could only trade by. But yeah, it sort of got people going around and like gave them a reason to go and mine Bexalite, to look up where they would find like the best clusters of Dolvine, not Hadonite. So yeah, just changed up the gave people something different to do. But like the thing was that it was like, why are we doing this? Oh well, we're doing it because, you know, Wormskull over at Frontier has made a mission. He's made like an ongoing event type thing, and you know we chucked some prizes behind it, like the first team to bring us all the items on the list were, they got 1 million credits, something like that. So without that sort of drive, and I just think what we probably need to see is like mining missions as an early sort of thing. Like I need to pop into my Moby Glass, and I need to, you know, in the same way that you can. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm just gonna do my jump to Arc. So I need to pop into my Mobiglass, and in the same way that I get commodity price alerts for different tradables, I should be able to get like a, you know, Mikel-2 refinery requires iron ore and will pay a bonus of, you know, 500 credits per SCU for the next, you know, 2000 SCU that comes through the door, and it gets like announced server wide to, or even, you know, across servers. And you just a bit like the bonuses that they gave out for like Ninetales Lockdown. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I can see the read across to Elite Dangerous with rock mining. I wouldn't say it's that bad. I did some of that engineering grind in the Rover too. That was horrendous. I'll be honest, that was the point that I stopped playing Elite. Just the point that I completely lost interest. I was also a bit confused in Elite Dangerous by the fact that you could carry over progression from single player into multiplayer. That just, I don't know. I had absolutely nothing against the idea of them having like, you know, so it had what like a number of people are, I guess, after and do talk about looking for in Star Citizen. Not something I want personally, but I can understand having like private servers, having single player realms, because, you know, these games are like Star Citizen offers lots of good PvE, and maybe somebody just wants to experience that as a single player game. But I personally say that's called Squadron 42. But like the thing I couldn't get from Elite was like, why can I effectively go to a no risk environment? Because like once you get good enough at a game, NPCs are never gonna be real danger. And then you can carry all that progress. So like all you get in Elite, or seemed to get in Elite, was like, if you went into multiplayer, it was people who had spent thousands of hours. Maybe thousands is a little bit of a hyperbole, but like many hundreds of hours grinding their ship up in single player to come and then just seal club in multiplayer. And if you hadn't spent the time, you know, grinding like that, then sorry mate, like you're just here to get seal clubbed, basically. You should go back to single player or like a private realm with your friends and do all this grind so that your ship can be as good as our ships. Yeah, it's, I don't know. There we go. That's my once a stream throwing shade at Elite Dangerous. Great game in VR though. Absolutely brilliant looking. I think, to be honest, the virtual reality was probably the difference between me playing 20 hours. I would have probably, without VR, I would have probably played about 20 hours of Elite. But because of VR, I played 200. So it definitely has that. And makes me long for the day that SC is VR support ready. Definitely not there yet, because if you've played many things in VR, you will know that poorly optimized games in virtual reality are awful. So yeah, not something I'm keen to see them rush at all. Speaking of not rushing, don't rush your landings in a mole full of Quantanium. Even if that light's beeping at you because you spent too long reading chat when you were in QT. Keep calm. Yeah, that is true, Tint. I don't know. Yeah, Elite. I played 2 flight games in VR. One was Elite Dangerous, which I was absolutely fine and didn't get motion sick one time. The other was War Thunder, and yeah, I tried. I gave up. I sort of found there's this weird thing I find with like VR flying games where you have to like kind of simulate the motion. So if you're turning right, you have to kind of lean a bit right. If you turn left, you have to like follow the ship a little bit. I found that like really does help with motion sickness. There's nothing like sort of, you know, having your inner ear being told that you're just stock still, and meanwhile you're doing loop-de-loops and barrel rolls. Yeah, I guess like in Elite, a lot of the ships are meant to be really big, aren't they? Yeah, you're sort of, you're the commander of a ship, but the ship itself is quite massive. I'll give it a go. I'll give MS Flight Simulator a go in VR. Is MS Flight Simulator still really expensive? I mean, I haven't looked at one since about 1998. But at the time, it was very expensive. There we go. Successfully have got some Quantanium into the cooker. And on that one, I think I'm just noticing here for me in the UK, it's coming up on 20 to 11. Oh, I did promise my wife that I would be in bed by 11, so that I could wake up in time. So I think with that said, I'm gonna say a very extra special thank you to Drizzle for coming and accompanying me there. A little bit of support goes a long way on these sorts of evenings. But also thank you to everybody for coming and spending their Friday night or Friday morning, depending on, or is it Saturday morning in Australia now? Sorry, yeah, that's the way time goes. But yeah, thanks for coming and spending a bit of time. Quantanium's in the cooker. We'll take that to market in a day or so. Hopefully ahead of 318 spot 1. So yeah, I would encourage everybody here to join me this weekend then, if the stress tests are up, to check out the details of those on Spectrum. Let's go smash the servers, create tons of boxes or something. Let's fill a bunch of C2s full of cargo and then self-destruct them over ArcCorp. Why not? Let's make it rain in the Area 18 Plaza. There's also, please as well, I will just drop the link in chat to the Frontier Discord. So please do pop over and say hello. And also, if you would like to catch up on any of these stream VODs, then they are all going to be appearing on the Frontier Consolidated YouTube channel as well. Which, again, I would try and find a link to. But I think I'll tell you that you just have to search Frontier Consolidated on YouTube. That might be my easiest way. But all of my stream VODs from now on are going to be going up on there. And let me just check for where I can stick this. Discord.gg/FRCN. And yeah, we've got plenty of events on and stuff, so feel free to swing on by. Absolutely anybody can join. Yeah, I will fix some stuff with the standard links and stuff in YouTube. Don't worry. It will be on my to-do list, and I will actually do this one, I promise. And get some of the links. But yeah, thank you very much for all hanging out, and I will catch you next time.